Hello everyone. So why only 4 or 5 people have written answers today? Hardly how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Why? Any specific reason? Only 6 people have written the answers. I don't think the questions were that tough also. Anyhow, see the first question. Why you people did not find the questions in Google?
So no, sir. Abdullahpur, there is no internet network today.
Okay, if internet is not there, what is stopping you from writing the answers? So did you wrote but did not upload? Is it like that? The question paper is hardly 20 KB or 30 KB. You can download it. Or else you are enjoying the monsoon. Okay. See, I'm telling you again, those who will rigorously do this will benefit. Okay. Those who are not doing this will not benefit. Okay. I know 1 or 2 programs which are being done on a similar style, not same style, similar style. And the fee for them is not less than 10,000 per student. You go and attend these kind of modules anywhere. It's kind of, daily answer practice and all with proper mentorship, proper evaluation, not like randomly writing in Insights portal or IAS Baba fellow who's beside you is evaluating. No, proper faculty, properly structured, syllabus oriented, focused programs. I'm sure you people all must be following the online modules, programs, not less than 10,000. If you find any module which is far cheaper than 10,000, if someone is doing daily answer, it's like daily answer practice, that too previous year UPSC questions, not random questions. Okay, not questions which come to my mind by seeing a Hindu article randomly. Okay, these are all properly UPSC questions, and so this entire exercise is being given free of cost. You may think we have already paid the fees for institute, but which institute is giving this add-on? You name one premier institute in Hyderabad who's giving such program as an add-on to the students to benefit. Any one institute which you know. You must be knowing the market, right? In the same institute, after the PCM, the prelim comes mains module. Even if you go and write the mains answer test series, you will be charged 20,000. So you people are getting this for free. That's why I guess sometimes the focus or the energy is not there. Oh, okay, anyhow it is free. What is there? Let's do when we want. Those who are doing, let them do. The day I get preparation for poverty, I'll go and write the answers. The day I know all the poverty schemes, I'll write answers. Actually, I should have asked Ramana sir to charge 10,000 per student. Then we would have got only 5 to 6, 10 serious students, but we would still ensure that they get ranks. He, out of his passion, he has offered it for free. Maybe sometimes it is his mistake also. And one thing is the financial angle to it. Second thing is the effort. Someone is putting some effort to come and teach you in the class. And I told you long back that this particular module I am doing out of passion. There is an underlying statement in it. I am doing for passion. And then someone is putting an effort to make these questions for you, gives those answer sheets, gives those booklets. There is some 3 or 4, at least 5 people working continuously on this to make this happen. And then seems like the initial exuberance or enthusiasm is now subsiding. Initially 15 to 20 people were writing after 2-3 days, which slowly saturated to 10. In the 10 today, it's only 6. So tomorrow only 2 or 3 people will be writing. Okay, for those remaining 4 or 5 who missed out today, there may be some genuine reason. But the initial 4 or 5 have not yet come back. And they know who they are. I know busy, you are in hometown, no signal, internet. So how are you able to attend the Telegram class? Telegram class will demand much more data and signal when compared to your normal thing. It's a video call. Okay, even if you are connecting on audio, it is still demanding a lot of data. So that same data is not useful to upload a scanned document. If you want to run behind excuses, for everything we'll have excuse. I have inquired about such modules and I know what is the fee the faculty are charging. I informed even Ramana sir also. So this is the market expectation for this kind of modules. He was also surprised and said, okay, sir, we understand that. And then I said, yes, sir, as I'm doing it for passion, let's help our students who have been traveling with us for last 1.5 to 2 years. So the only enthusiasm or energy I'll get is when you people are more responsive. So that don't prove the famous saying that something which comes for free is not valued. Don't prove that famous saying. This is the era of infodemic. You go to Google, you'll get hundreds of advices of how to crack UPSC. Hundreds of toppers are giving free advices, sometimes fake advices. Go and do everything. I'm sure you'll end up extremely confused. Some of us, we have been through the turmoil, we have been through that rigor, we have learned it in the hard way and ready to share our experiences with you. And then you people are negligent. For class, I'll have 20 people. For answers, there are only 7 to 8 people. And that's becoming a very regular thing. So people who are thinking this is just a previous year questions discussion session, what I'll gain from it. If that is the thought process, I'm sorry to know that you are not in the right frame of mind. I discussed this particular thing with one of my friends who himself is a director of the institute, a very famous institute. I said, I'm doing this in this particular institute. He said, how many questions are you discussing per day? I said, we are discussing around 5 PVQs. He said, oh my God, you're doing 5 PVQs. That's hell lot of effort here. What is this? You're doing 5 PYQs. I said, yes, we are doing 5 PYQs, almost 5 PYQs. Sometimes it is definitely more than 3. I said, how much effort it takes. And then 5 PYQs per day means you're training the students in next 4 months to cover entire PYQs of last 8-9 years. I said, yes, that is the target. And he said, so is the institute charging a bomb from students? I just smiled and said it's a free initiative. And he was like shocked. Like, how come an institute is offering this for free? Then I just randomly asked him, what if we keep fee for it? He said, we will not charge less than 10,000 for such program. So that is the basic demand for such programs. And then seems like, this has been taken for granted in just less than a month. Oh, anyhow, daily 9 to 10, some questions will be discussed. RamSai, anyhow, someone is even editing the questions. The 10 minutes, now they are posting it in our YouTube channel. Let's do it RamSai. So once that attitude creeps in, it is again e to the power of minus x. As Kalyan the other day, he has given a graph plus 1%, minus 1% per day. You have to decide which angle you want to be. You want to be 37 times better than you or worse than you have to decide. As this module moves on from subject to subject, we will also see that some serious people will be staying focused and writing day in and day out. Others will be like visitors randomly writing a answer to just just test me, that is sir able to evaluate my question. So instead of testing themselves, they are trying to test me. That is the attitude. And as a faculty, I'll also be at some point of time, maybe as we move on with this module, I'll be more selfish. I'll see guys who are making better answers, students who are regular, even though if they are not making better answers, I'll try to handhold them. If someone is already making better answers, I'll help them in making much better answers and probably the best answers. Just to keep on record, during various mains, I have scored top marks in all the GS papers at some point of the other time. So I am confident what makes a better answer and what gives the marks also. I got 130, 120, 120, and even 130. So some of my GS scores were much beyond top 50 ranks also sometimes. Some other aspects did not work out. It's a different thing. When the average score for essays were 110, I got 131. So I am confident of what my quality is, and I'm definitely sure people who are regular, students who are very regular, they'll definitely appreciate what is the quality they are going to get. And if they are sincere, if they are doing the 80 to 85% of what is expected from them, the remaining 5 to 10% we will take care. Okay. So expecting more seriousness. Okay. When sometimes you may not have class, that's a different thing. Then you chill out. Sometimes I may have some personal emergency, it's a different thing. Then also you can chill out. But when there is a proper scheduled class, you have to submit your answers. If you are just a mere spectator in the group, Ramna sir also is online. I'm being very much on record. You can exit the Telegram group. If you are just there in that group to see how this is being done, we don't require you. And this is being recorded, and I'm telling you on the face, people who have joined the group because of that peer pressure. There's something happening in the group. We'll see what happens. They are posting questions. Someone is posting answers. That attitude we don't want. If you are of that attitude, please exit the group. You have an option of exiting the group. This this is instant thing which has come into my mind, and I understand that I may not be empowered to speak this, but still I'm saying this. Yeah, I can see that RamSai is also part of this online session, and I am taking him also into confidence and saying this. We don't want 67, 70 members in that group and 10 people writing the answers.
Yeah, as a teacher, you have every right to say, Nishanji.
Sir.
You have every right to say.
Thank you, sir. So 67 people part of the group. If you leave 2 or 3 admins, 2 or 3 people who have exhausted their attempts and interested to be part of answer writing program in future, they want to hone their skills. I know them. Leaving, okay, even giving benefit of doubt to 7 people, 60 people are aspirants for UPSC. And what is the turnout ratio? 1/6. 16% are writing answers, remaining 84% are just mere spectators in the group. So my humble request, don't strain yourself, don't strain us. We are happy if we have 10-15 people also, we are happy. And instead of saying that out of 60 we got 10 ranks, we'll be very happy to say out of 10 we got 8 ranks. That is a much better achievement for us to speak of. Yes, we concentrated our energies on 10, and then out of 10, touch wood, all 10 or maybe at least 8 have got ranks. That would be a much better achievement for us to speak about. So high time, because I have not spoken about this. I thought, okay, initial hiccups, people will take time to settle down. Slowly the number of people writing will improve, but it's just coming down. Okay, so on that note, our communication is very clear. Who are regular, who want to be regular, who want to benefit from this particular exercise, stay in the group. Who are not interested, who feel this is a waste of time, who feel that this is just for some hangama type, kindly don't waste your time. Your time is much more precious than ours. And also don't waste our time. You are free to exit the group so that we will actually know who are the people whom we can concentrate upon. And we are happy with that number. It may be single digit, it may be double digit, whatever it is. Because this program is for free, we did not worry about numbers. That 30 people will make this program successful. 20 people is a minimum number, not required. Okay, fine. So on that note, let's start today's class. See the first question. The incidence and intensity of poverty are more important in determining poverty based on income alone. In this context, analyze the latest United Nations Multidimensional Poverty Index report. Yeah. So what did you understand from the question basically? Anyone who has written the answers or who wants to just attempt it now? What did you understand from the question? Okay, Jitender. Introduction, multi-poverty index analysis in lines of income, favorable or against, conclusion. Okay. Is it favorable or against? The incidence and intensity of poverty are more important in determining poverty based on income alone. In this context,
how MDPI
basically they are
can
asking you
overcome the conventional methods.
Yes. The basic question is, because if you see the Tendulkar committee, Rangarajan committee, by and large, okay, especially the Tendulkar committee, even today it is the sacrosanct committee for determining the poverty in India. Okay, that is the 32 rupees and 28 rupees. Though other committees, Rangarajan committee also gave its own formula, it was not accepted because it gave a hybrid formula because of which the poverty increased. Because no government wants to acknowledge the fact that poverty has increased during its period. So we still maintain that we are having 25 to 30% poverty. Okay, because especially after COVID, the research about the people falling into poverty is not known till date. Okay, so we are still maintaining the same facts and figures, but unfortunately, if you see the World Bank report, if you see our own reports, there are many striking facts which are pointing out that there are people who fell into poverty, especially after COVID. Keeping that aside, now the question is about the various angles in determining the poverty and not income alone. Incidence and intensity of poverty are more important. So what do you mean by incidence and intensity? What do you mean by incidence and intensity? Sriram?
Incidence is how it is existing. Intensity
Incidence is
at
how
what
it
level
is.
is, rather than only income alone, what are the forms it is existing.
Yeah. Incidence and intensity. Intensity means what is the level
level.
of poverty. Okay, like extremely poor or slightly poor. So that is the intensity. Incidence is how much does it
Incidence is how
prevail?
many people who are in poor, sir.
Huh?
Incidence means how many people
Yeah.
who are in poor.
Incidence
Percentage
means
of
how
people.
many poor. Intensity means how much poor. Okay, so Bhaskar, you are right. It is how many and how much. Okay, incidence is how many. Intensity is how much. Okay, and then they are saying that these two factors are also important. Instead of simply saying that everyone below 32 rupees per day are poor. So how much below 32, how many below 32 is also important. And in this context, analyze the latest United Nations MPI, multidimensional poverty index. Who gives this multidimensional poverty index?
UNDP, sir.
UNDP, and there is one famous university, UNDP and Oxford. Yes.
Oxfam Internet.
Okay. So these two organizations come together and give this multi-poverty index. So basically multi-dimensional index. Multi-dimensional index is, it goes on to say that people cannot be determined poor only on one parameter. Basically, the poverty is combination of various factors. Okay, and various dimensions. In that context, they release this multi-dimensional poverty index. Okay, this index is basically like any other poverty, how it is determined based on health, education, and the standard of living. But within these three parameters, there are sub parameters, around 7 to 8 parameters in the whole, where the incidence of poverty is measured across the parameters. Not only this basic health, education, and standard, it goes much beyond in detail about the health. In health, there are again two things, which is the child mortality, nutrition of the individual, and then in education, how many years they are educated, and then the enrollment, the gross enrollment ratio in the education. In the living standards, it is talking about the type of cooking fuel used, what is the sanitation, how, and drinking water, electricity, housing, and what are the various assets that particular individual is having. All these are important parameters. Okay, if you go and type multi-dimensional poverty index in Google, you will get what are the different parameters on which the poverty is measured with regard to this particular index. Okay, so basically it considers all these dimensions simultaneously. Okay, so that the poverty is looked in a much holistic view when compared to a straightforward approach. Clear? So when the poverty is looked in a multiple, in a holistic view, then we can agree upon the incidence and intensity. Because someone may be poor because they are not having access to particular electricity. Someone may be poor because they are not having access to sanitation. So they are saying that poverty is not all about income alone. It is about various factors. So we need to come out of this straight approach and look it in a holistic way. So that is the approach of UN MPI. Okay, so what is the outcome you will get with MPI is, when people are poor across multiple things, that means they are the most vulnerable class or the section of the society. So if out of 7, 8 factors, if people are not having 4 or 5 factors, that means they are the most vulnerable people in the society. So such people, the intensity of poverty is more. And when you apply this index, if out of 100 people, 80 people are not having 3 or 4 parameters, then the incidence of poverty is more. Are you able to agree? It's like a formula which is being applied to understand the incidence and intensity. If out of 180 people are not having, then the incidence is more. Out of 80, almost 60 people are not having 4 or 5 parameters. Then the intensity is also more. Like that, you can arrive at what exactly is the issue. If out of 100 people, non-availability of electricity is a common problem for 80 people, first you can address the issue of electricity. Or sanitation is an issue, you can address the sanitation. Okay, so it gives you the multi-dimensional approach. So you are at the same time you are trying to hit more than one problem, so the chances of succeeding will be high. Okay, and also one more advantage is you can plan the allocation of resources: electricity, sanitation, housing, education, and then how many years of mean health care. Then in your budget also you can properly plan how much should I allot to each and every sector, so that my overall poverty is taken care. On that lines, then you can conclude that this particular index will help you in addressing schemes in a holistic way and target poverty at macro level and with micro level findings. Clear?
Yes, sir.
This is a very latest question and a very good question. Okay, who has written this question? There are only 6 people who have written today, so I'll try to cover all the answers written by them. Anil, Arvind. Okay, first question, who has written? Sriram, you
Sir,
have
I
written?
think almost everyone written.
Okay. Okay. Sriram. Yeah, you have covered all the dimensions used by MPI. Yeah, incidence into average intensity. So intensity and incidence are both part of the MPI.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you have given a lot of facts. Good. If you can remember such facts and present them in the answer, it's always good. It reveals, you see, everyone can see the point number 2. It reveals the spatial, inter and intra-regional or national variations. So that's what I was referring to. You can take the sample size and then arrive at how a particular sample is helping you in determining the poverty. Good point, Sriram. You covered all the aspects. Yeah, income method. And then in the conclusion, you have mentioned SDG also. So very good conclusion. Okay. On a whole, very good answer. See the second question. There is growing divergence in relationship between poverty and hunger in India. The shrinking of social expenditure by the government is forcing the poor to spend more on non-food essential items, squeezing their food budget. Elucidate. Again, a very latest question, and again a good question. What is the approach for this answer? What is exactly the demand of the question?
How various non-food expenditures are impacting the food expenditure, and what are the measures to be taken for that?
Indirectly, they are saying government is trying to withdraw from social expenditure
Social,
and social
social.
welfare, right?
Welfare state. It is moving away from the welfare state and
Government
secretary
is
as well.
traditionally welfare state, but government seems to be moving away from giving spending on the welfare. Okay, so hence there is a divergence between poverty and hunger. Actually, poverty and hunger are two interrelated terms. Hunger causes poverty and poverty leads to hunger in general. Okay, but then they are saying the divergence is there because now poverty is only not only because of hunger, because now people are, because government has withdrawn from certain aspects of social sector. In addition to food, they should also invest money into some other things. And there the divergence is becoming more and the poverty also is becoming more. So that is the demand of the question. Did you understood? Did you understand the question?
Yes, sir.
So what is the framework for this? What is the framework for this answer? Okay, growing divergence reasons, shrinking expenditure. Then you have to give measures also. What are the government initiatives? You have to write, Jitendra.
Yeah, so government initiatives and then way forward.
So why do you think, what are the reasons for growing divergence? What are the reasons for growing divergence? Is because of low social expenditure, they are saying. So what are the reasons for this low social expenditure? Why the social expenditure of the government is reducing?
They are unable to identify the real reasons. Identification problem.
Okay. So you can even talk about the decline of government expenditure, especially on various social sectors. So what are the various important social sectors?
Health, education,
Health, education, and
basic infra.
basically it's health education. So even today we are not able to spend enough money on health. Okay, though the national health policy is asking you to spend at least 2.5% of the GDP, you are not even spending that. And then national education policy is asking you to spend 6% on education. You are not doing that. So when health and education, two important social factors or the reasons are not being taken care, now people are now forced to spend on them. And as a result, there is a divergence of between poverty and hunger. Okay. And then also the government is unable to focus its this thing on creation of infrastructure. Okay, there have been lack of funds for MG Narega. So basic infrastructure issues and
The short-term measures hindering the long-term cost.
maybe short-term measures hindering the long-term. And in the multi-poverty index, we have seen there are so many factors which are implying on the poverty, and the priorities should be proper, like housing, no proper housing, no proper sanitation, no access to potable drinking water. So all these are multiple reasons which are forcing people to go and put money into those things. And as a result, the hunger aspect is becoming more divergent and people are becoming poor. And then you can write about certain government schemes which target the education health. Regarding health, you can write about the Ayushman Bharat and government focus to increase more number of the primary health centers. And education, you can say the NEP 2020 is a very good way forward, and implementation of right to education. You can write about Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, free housing for poor people. You can talk about the Poshan Abhiyan, midday meal program. So what you can say is, it is, in conclusion, you can say that the social expenditure has not come down, but the focus with regard to social expenditure is not appropriately carried on. Hence, the need of the hour that government is still spending a lot on the social expenditure. Government has not withdrawn itself from welfare state. Even today, it's a welfare state. But you can say that you can use the first question in the second. We can use indices like MDPI and try to reorganize our social expenditure so that the divergence between poverty and hunger decreases, and also poverty as a phenomena is having a holistic approach and can be addressed from the root cause. Clear? How we can use the first question in the second? Because non-essential items. So non-food essential items. Non-food essential items are like housing, sanitation, education, health, and all these are covered in your multidimensional poverty. You can say that we can use help of tools of MDPI, and then we can help the channelizing of funds of government in a much better way. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Jitendra,
Yeah, sir.
where is the name on your answer sheet?
Yeah, sir. I'll make sure it comes tomorrow, sir. After uploaded, I remember it.
Okay, introduction is good. Okay, low spending on education. You can write about health and other parts also. Okay, health also
Yeah,
you can
sir.
write the measure. You can write the statistics about health. Okay, Ayushman Bharat New Education. You can write about Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana.
Yes, sir.
Because basically people tend to spend more on housing. Okay, housing is something, everyone, that roti kapda makan, that mindset is there in India. Okay. In the way forward, you can write about using tools like MDPI, channelizing funds to MG Narega. Okay, the social expenditure can be properly channelized. You can write those as a innovative measures. Okay, Jitendra?
Yeah, sir, I'll make sure it. But sir, in this type of questions, the framework is missing, sir.
Framework means?
We cannot able to address the code. We cannot able to know how to frame this type of questions, sir. In
So,
last 45 questions, we can able to get the framework with whenever we did questions, sir. But today's questions we can able to find difficult in.
because basically these are not direct questions, these are statements. Okay, these are statements, and then you are being asked to substantiate that statement. If you see the second question, they are saying elucidate. Elucidate means explain the statement. They
Yeah,
have
sir.
given a statement, you have to explain it. While explain it, you can take various examples and explain. And then see, for such questions also, you have your own clarity as to what you want to do. Here you explain the statement by giving certain examples, and then come to the strong zone of yours, that is, you have to give your vision of this particular problem. They have projected a problem and asked you to explain. So instead of simply explaining it, take this question as an opportunity and then give the measures to come out of this problem and give a very innovative way forward. That is what is expected in these questions. Understood?
Yes, I will make sure. So,
Third one. How far do you agree with the view that focus on lack of availability of food as the main cause of hunger takes away the attention away from ineffective human development policies? I think again you can see the interrelation between the second question and third question. I think you can
yes,
see
sir.
it's just a reverse way of asking the question, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you find the correlation between second and third question, every one of you? In the second question, they said the divergence is because the social expenditure is not being shrinking social expenditure of the government. And if you see the second part of the question, they are saying spending more on non-food essential items. And here they are saying only focus on hunger is taking away the attention from other non-food essential items. Yes or no? In the third question, it
Yes,
says
sir.
only focusing on hunger. In second question, they are saying hunger is forgotten because they are forced to invest on non-food essential items. In the third question, they are saying only concentrating on hunger means not concentrating on other non-food essential items or human development policies. Now tell me, what is the approach? What will be the approach for this question?
Sir, we can directly go with agreement or disagreement to our substantiate points and then way forward.
Okay. If you want to agree, what will you agree? If you want to disagree, what will you disagree?
Agree that focusing on hunger alone will not solve this problem. Then I'll substantiate my points with what are the need of focus, and then I'll go with way forward.
And then you can mention the government schemes. See the government schemes.
Okay, sir. Yeah, sir.
You will say that we are not only focusing on hunger, we are focusing on various aspects of human development. We are focusing on housing, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, sanitation. We are focusing on nutrition, food, that is Poshan Abhiyan. We are focusing on infrastructure and rural roads through MG Narega. We are focusing on electricity through Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Vidyutikaran Yojana. We are focusing on drinking water through Atal, what is it? Atal Jal Yojana,
Jal Jeevan Mission.
Jal Jeevan Yojana.
JJM.
So the approach is slightly that here we are saying we are not only focusing on hunger, we are focusing on other aspects of human development policies also, and these are the schemes. However, again in this question, you can take the help of first question and say, to rationalize the expenditure, we need to have a holistic view of what exactly is the poverty, what is the incidence and intensity of poverty, use indices like multidimensional poverty index, and have a better approach towards not only hunger but other human development aspects of poverty. You see, the first question I have used as a conclusion in second and third. Of course, you have to use sustainable development goals, because wherever hunger, poverty, equitable growth, gender inequality, you can always use sustainable development goals in your conclusions.
Yes, sir. It's a 250 word answer, sir.
Yeah, so you can even write a way forward and conclusion also. Way forward can be your measures, conclusions can be the entire gist of your answer and giving a futuristic orientation.
Yes, sir.
See, we have used the same question of the first one to give proper, very well conclusions for second and third. Are you able to understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, Vasavi, you have concentrated one complete page on hunger, but the question is about, apart from hunger, what we have to do or what we are not doing. You have arrived at the core demand slightly late. You mention about hunger, no doubt about it, but don't give extensive statistics and don't go in detail about hunger. Clear? You write about the various drawbacks where the human development is not happening. Okay, of course, you can write health, education, housing and all. Okay, you have even written skills. You see, of course, it's a 250 word. You can have added one more page. You did not know it, but you see you have crammed up at the bottom. And you have not even made 30 to 40% of the demand for the question. Because you arrived late at the demand for the question, you have made sense only in one page. Actually, from here, from second page, your actual answer starts, and then you have to mention the government policies and then give a proper way forward and conclusion. Since you have gone extensively about hunger aspect, you can see the question is basically to confuse you. They are saying we are focusing too much on hunger. What else we need to do? So yes, you say, yes, we are focusing too much on hunger. Of course, no problem. This you can use half page or 3/4 page and then quickly come to the core demand of the question. Yes, apart from hunger, we have to focus on these aspects, and these are the initiatives. This is the way forward, and this is the conclusion. Okay, Vasavi. Clear? I know these questions are quite tough. Okay, these questions are quite tough for even the proper rankers. Okay, so I'm not definitely not surprised if you people are feeling tough. Okay, and when some of us also wrote the mains for these mains answers actually by sitting in the examination hall, we also felt it tough. Okay, now today when we are sitting in a happy comfortable zone, when our mind is not under pressure, we are able to think in a multiple dimension way and try to get a proper answer for this. But I agree with Jitendra that during the examination, under tremendous pressure of 3 hours writing 4,000 words, the understanding of these questions can go somewhere off the track. But the beauty is, if you can understand these questions and write proper answers, your basic thing is, because this is part of the GS2, okay, then you will be, your answers will be highlighted. Your answers will be really highlighted, and then your entire the examiner will have very good impression on you. Okay, so see the fourth question. I think fourth question should be easy. Poverty alleviation programs in India remain mere showpieces until and unless they are backed up by political will. That's the statement. Discuss with reference to the performance of major poverty alleviation programs in India. So what they are saying, we are designing so many programs and just giving them for implementation. Do they have sufficient political backing? That is the question. Jitendra agreed. Any other approach, any other framework than Jitendra? Everyone is able to see the framework given by Jitendra? So what will be the you can just give the introduction about what is the aim and objective about poverty alleviation program. What is the basic aim and objective of poverty alleviation programs? Their main aim and objective is to uplift the poor and create the factors for socio-economic development. Yes. You can talk about how poverty alleviation programs are basically designed to address the vulnerable section of the society, to uplift them from the clutches of poverty, and also create socio-economic development, which will help in the overall economic development of the country. And then you can give some examples, like the poverty alleviation programs and their success. Okay, you can write about poverty alleviation programs and the success. So with what are the poverty alleviation programs? One is the famous MG Narega, and another is the NRLM, National Rural Livelihood Mission, now called as Ajvika. So MG Narega, NRLM, okay, and then recently during COVID you had Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, National Food Security Mission, okay, and Pradhan Mantri Swan Nidhi. All these are poverty alleviation programs, and you can write the like how MG Narega has been a game changer in the rural setup of the country by employing so many people, and the employment is guaranteed, and they are able to meet the basic needs with regard to their daily lives. And NRLM, you can write how it has helped the women to come out of poverty by forming the associations, the success of SHGs. And Pradhan Mantri Swan Nidhi, where a lot of street vendors and hawkers lost livelihood during COVID, and when they got the 10,000 rupees, they could re-establish their businesses. And then Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, close to 80 crore people have been fed food during COVID. National Food Security Mission. 2/3 of India is getting food at very throwaway prices. 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 3 rupee. Coarse grains, rice and wheat. They are getting at very cheap price, and they are able to meet the food security. So all these are the, and then you can write about the Poshan Abhiyan. All these are the success cases of the poverty alleviation programs. You can say the bottlenecks or the drawbacks of poverty alleviation programs. What are the drawbacks? In regarding Manrega, you are seeing so many articles in Hindu day in and day out. Even the other day, you have seen that how the supervisors of MG Narega are suffering due to lack of coordination between center and state. So you can mention that example. In MG Narega, which is one of the biggest poverty alleviation program in India, there is no sync between the center and state governments. This is because lack of political will. Okay, central government is not paying. State government is simply not paying because they are saying central government is not paying us, so we are not able to pass on to you. And then bureaucratic red tape, non-identification of proper beneficiaries, or inclusion of ghost beneficiaries, corruption, lack of infrastructure, lack of last mile connectivity. And so basically you have to conclude saying that it's not only because of lack of political will, it is because of multiple reasons. The need of the hour is that, again, to address these multiple reasons, you need to have political will. And for this, maybe we have to empower at the grassroots level. In this particular thing, you can bring out the importance of grassroots level democracy, because the Prime Minister Narendra Modi cannot expect, we cannot expect Prime Minister Narendra Modi to go and solve an issue at ward level or a village level. There is a huge system. So what is the responsibility of the central government or the state government is that they have to decentralize the power and empower the grassroots democracy. Then you can say that poverty alleviation programs, however grand and big they are, we have to actually empower the people at grassroots level so that the programs are actually implemented. And you can conclude saying that, and also bring in the SDG 1, that is the poverty elimination, and then conclude. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Arvind, you have not written the fourth answer. Okay. Not required. Anil, don't go back to the time of Indira Gandhi. Okay. You need not give about all these old schemes. National Food for Work program is gone long back. Talk about the present scheme, which is only MG Narega. Yeah, and nutrition enhancement. This is not nutrition enhancement. Antodaya or Garib Kalyan or food security is food security programs. Okay, that is not nutrition enhancement.
Yes, sir.
Nutrition enhancement is portion. Be clear with government schemes. Instead of one, if you write other, it will be looking very odd. Again, social security is a very different concept. While you are having content, please get more clarity, Anil. Okay, these kind of questions are really challenging. Okay, because it calls for the complete analysis of government schemes and then putting them in proper ways as to how you need to address the demand of the question. Okay, now the framework we have now we have discussed the framework, right? Your content is almost relevant. Now try to put your key changed. Okay. See the last question. You see the trend of UPSC, they are concentrating hunger, poverty, hunger, poverty. Hunger and poverty are the biggest challenges for good governance in India still today. Evaluate how far successive governments have progressed in dealing with this humongous problems. Humongous means huge problems. Suggest measures for improvement. If you are able to write answer 2 and 3, 5 is sitter for you.
Sir, but the fourth question and fifth question were asked the same year.
Fourth is about poverty alleviation. Here, hunger and poverty. And yes,
Yeah,
they are asking in the same year. So maybe slightly content will be coinciding, not a problem, but still poverty and hunger are the biggest challenges for good governance in India still today. Evaluate how far successive governments have progressed in dealing with these humongous problems. Suggest measures for the improvement. Yeah, what is the framework? Soumya, did you write the fifth answer? No. Okay. Anyhow, you just go and verify your answers with regard to the other ones. Okay. Yeah. Fifth question. What is the framework? The question is having two parts. One is the evaluate how far successive governments have progressed, first part, and second part is suggest the measures for improvement. So here your originality should come into picture.
But can we add these drawbacks or challenges in this government, or we can directly hit the measures?
Is it a 150 word or a 250 word?
150 words, sir.
Then do you have time?
No,
Do you
no,
have space? Do you
No,
have
sir.
space?
no, sir. No, sir.
Now you got the approach.
Yes, sir.
For 150 word, you have to have come to the core demand of the question immediately. Introduction, success of government, successive governments, and then measures for improvement and conclusion. That's all. Okay. And for each and everything, you have a side heading and explain the examiner that you have answered all parts of the question. The major challenges of such questions is that the examiner should understand you have answered all parts of the question. Else you may be rewarded only 3 or 4 marks. So how far successive governments have progressed in dealing with hunger and poverty? Here, Anil, in this question, you can talk about, say, successive governments. You can talk right from Indira Gandhi time also. Here there is scope. Slightly, you can mention about history or the past, because it is asking you to mention the success of successive governments. Okay. Here you can say that successive governments have come a long way in dealing with poverty and hunger. Then you can mention what are the various poverty reduction initiatives taken by this thing, various governments. They have come up with the proper.
Green Revolution.
Okay, you can mention the target for poverty reduction started from Green Revolution, which created income security for farmers and food security for entire India. Okay, hunger was taken care of with regard to Green Revolution. You can start with the introduction of Green Revolution. In your introduction, you can say that the main issue of hunger, because Green Revolution had multiple objectives. Of course, the basic objective was food security, but the farmers who actually were part of the Green Revolution benefited with income security also, right? So,
Sir, we can start with Garibi Hatao.
Garibi Hatao, you can say, but don't go too much into the past, because it's a 150 word. You have to mention all the angles. You can say Garibi Hatao was the motive. So poverty was always a key component of our nation development. To remove hunger, the Green Revolution played a major role, which created food security. Okay, and then Pradhan Mantri, this National Food for Work program was a twin objective of removing poverty and hunger. And later, many such schemes were merged. And finally, in 2006, MG Narega came into picture. It was a revolutionary scheme which targeted hunger and poverty, both. And then you can talk about the NFSA, National Food Security Act 2013, which primarily addresses the hunger. 66% of the population is given food for free. And then you can mention some other prominent schemes which have been successful. Measures for improvement. Next side heading will be measures for improvement. You can talk about JAM Trinity, Jandan Aadhaar Mobile, direct benefit transfer, reduction in the red tapeism. Okay, you can talk about infrastructure, and you can talk about proper implementation of these schemes. And even you can, if you have time and space, you can give a case study of MG Narega, how sometimes the funds are delayed and people are suffering. When you are reading Hindu and other newspapers and you are reading about the practical challenges which are being faced in implementation of government schemes, try to write them in some place so that those can be used. Yeah, social auditing and monitoring, very good. For Manrega or MG Narega, already there is social auditing in place. You have to strengthen social auditing. You can use the help of PFMS, the financial monitoring system, where the last mile spending of the rupee is accounted. And for these type of questions, you have to have examples at your hand. In the recent article, it was such a, I don't know if you people have read about it. There is something called MG Narega supervisors. They are having some 4 or 5 rupees extra beyond the daily laborers. 235 is for supervisors, 231 is for daily laborers. Daily laborers are directly getting payment as they are getting funds from the central government. In Rajasthan, daily laborers are getting payment, but the supervisors who are monitoring those laborers are not getting payment because central government is not releasing the funds for these people or releasing very late. As a result, their wages are being delayed. So many people are now planning to quit in in Rajasthan. They don't want to be supervisors. Supervisor means they are managing group of laborers. They don't want to do their job because people under them are getting wages on time, but they are not getting wages on time because the state government is saying center is not giving funds. We are unable to pay you on time. The same problem is there in Karnataka also. In Karnataka, what they are doing, along with the daily wages of 231 rupees, they are paying supervisors also 231 rupees, and the balance 4 rupees, they are saying central government has not paid. As and when government pays us, we will pay you the balance 4 rupees. You see, entire 235 is not paid. In other state, 231 is paid, 4 rupees is delayed. Here 235 rupees is delayed, here 4 rupees is delayed. Which is more serious issue? 235 entire amount being delayed is a serious issue. So the problem is same, the approach is different. That is where as a bureaucrat you will go and play your role. Problem is same in both the states. Central government is delaying the funds. But what will you do to sustain and motivate the laborers? Supervisors are important. The day out, right? Maybe weekly or monthly he will go and once and see. But who have to see? Supervisors. And when they are not motivated, what is the quality of work you will expect? Who is accountable for Manrega funds? District collector. If you are spending 10 crores and simply digging one pit, you will be given charge sheet. So the approach for problems will come only when you have innovative mindset. And that was such a beautiful article. Karnataka, what they are doing, 231 rupees they are giving and 4 rupees they are delaying, saying that 4 rupees when the central government gives, will give you. Here that fellow at least is assured, okay, only 4 rupees now, no problem. That is how you have to tackle problems. That is the practical thing. What you are writing, structural, this thing, social audits, everything is beautiful in English. When you get down, when that laborer comes, he'll not care you are collector or someone. He'll say, sir, where is my 231 rupees? Then you have to stand and answer on behalf of state and central governments. You cannot say, okay, I'll ask KCR and say, I'll ask Modi ji and say, will you do that? If you call KCR, he'll say, what are you there for? Go and answer. If I have delayed, you are my representative. Go and answer, yeah. You don't know what is the situation of state. Then what will you answer? So these are the practical challenges which you have. And you have to be aware of all this. Clear? So for these kind of things, you better have case studies, and that case studies will actually help you in writing better answers. And those will be appreciated because the examiner, when he knows that you are following these kind of challenges, he or she will definitely encourage by giving good marks. Okay, fine. Okay, good night all.